guys, welcome back. So I'm super sick. I have a giant pimple and it's Valentine's Day and I need to look presentable. So I'm starting by using the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Oil. This is a little sample size I got from Sephora. It has a strange smell to it, but I actually really like it. It's been awesome for my dry skin. I'm using the Dr. Brandt Pore No More just in my T-zone to fill any pores. Don't mind my teeth whitening strip. I'm using the NYX Micro Brow Pencil in the shade Taupe to fill in my brows. Just kind of outlining the shape I want and then filling in with little hair-like strokes. Just the usual. I was actually having a really bad brow day. I mean, you're sick, you can't have good brows. What do you do? Just going to spoolie that out, and now I'm using my MAC Pro Longwear Concealer in the shade NW15 just to clean those up, to try to salvage what I can from these brows. I'm going for a pretty dramatic look today, so I also did this on the top of the brows as well. And I'm just going to fill in any sparse areas with my Anastasia brow powder in the shade Taupe as well. Now I'm going to carry that Pro Longwear Concealer down to my lids just as a base for my eyeshadows. And I'm going to tap the MAC Prep and Prime 24-Hour Extended Eye Base on top of that as well, just for some extra hold. Love that primer. Now for my transition shade, I'm using the Naked 2 shade from the Urban Decay Naked palette. I'm sorry, the Naked Basics palette. Just working that into the crease. I usually always use this shade when I'm doing a cool tone look. Now I'm using this middle light gray shade from the KatVonD Shade Light palette, and I'm just basically using this as a base for our cat eye, and also going to work that into the crease as well. Just as a kind of guideline where things need to go. Now I'm taking this Stila Holiday palette and taking this gray shade on a flat definer brush and really starting to map out our cat eye with this. None of this has to be perfect. We're going to be blending everything out, so it doesn't need to be perfect. No worries there. Just mapping out where we want things to be. Now I'm taking the black from the KatVonD Shade Light palette, and I'm being a little bit more precise with this, but again, we are going to blend it out. And just keeping this really close to the lash line and towards the bottom of that cat eye. And I'm angling my cat eye towards the bottom of my eyebrow, if that will kind of help you know where to place it. It all just depends on your eye shape, of course, as well. I'm just starting to feather that up a little bit. Now I'm going to take a blender brush and just blend that out. This is kind of where things start to get ugly before they can look pretty. So you're just going to kind of blend that out. Then you'll go back in and add more definition. This is the black again. Just tapping that in to add more definition. So it's just kind of adding definition, then blending and back and forth until you get the look that you want. That side got a little janky, but don't worry, we're going to fix that in a minute. And I'm going in with a really small precision blending brush and really going to work on smoking that out close to the lash line as well. Now I'm fixing that little janky wing just with the leftover concealer that was on my concealer brush. Super easy. Just making it match the other one. Now I'm taking more of that light gray shade and just going to make sure there's no super rough edges or anything like that. Gonna blend them out. Now I'm using a liner. This is a KatVonD ink liner, and just using this right at the very base of my lash line and at the very edge of that liner, just to make it a kind of gradient from darkest to lightest. And I wanted it to still be matte, so I just tapped a little bit of black eyeshadow on top of that just to make it matte, because that liner does dry a little shiny. Now for foundation, I'm taking the Cover FX drops with the Born This Way foundation from Too Faced, and I'm just going to tap that on with a foundation brush, and then I'll go in with my beauty sponge. This one's by Real Techniques, to buff that in. Now I'm taking the NYX Dark Circle Under Eye Concealer. This is a correcting concealer, so it's a peachy shade, and I need that right now because these bags are real. I'm also tapping that on top of my blemish. I tried to use this green corrector by LA Girl, but I went a little bit too much on it. It would have worked a lot better if I hadn't added so much, because it kind of disturbed the product that was under it. So fail there, but you know, it all works out in the end. Now I'm taking the LA Pro Concealer in the shade Medium Beige just to contour my nose. I am doing a lot more than I usually would do because I want it to be very dramatic, since I look like death pretty much. I'm using the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer in the shade NW15 again, and just going to add that to the high points of my face. Again, using a little more than I usually would, but just kind of going for more of a transformation look today. Just doing the upside down triangle type motion, and this is the perfect time to straighten up your liner as well, in case you got a little crazy. I'm gonna blend it in with my beauty sponge again. If you haven't tried using a beauty sponge, I'm gonna need you to go get one, like today or yesterday. Blending out that nose contour. And just taking whatever was left on that concealer brush and just adding light back in the very center of the nose, because that contour got a little cray. I'm going to set that with the Mercier Secret Brightening Powder. I am using the baking method, so I'm just adding a lot more product than you would typically need. Adding that to the high points of the face, just setting that concealer. And then we'll dust off the excess later. I grabbed my powder and I did tap that over my blemishes, and that really helps conceal, but I forgot to set the rest of my face. So I went ahead and went on with bronzer. This is the Lorac Pro Contour Palette, and that's the shade Medium Contour I was bronzing with, but I noticed it was looking kind of choppy and harsh. So then I realized I forgot to set the rest of my face. So I did that real quick with that same L'Oreal powder, and then went back in with the bronzer to fix any damage that was done. It was fine, it was just a little harsh, but again, I was going for dramatic that day, so it's cool. Make sure you get that jawline. Now I'm taking a contour brush, it's just a little bit more dense. I'll add a little bit more product just where I want it, which is usually underneath the cheekbone and on the top of the... I can't even with this clip right now, like, I couldn't even delete it because it's so ridiculous. Just dusting off that excess product. Now I'm taking this Tarte blush from this palette. I'll list it below, don't know what it is, but adding that with my Morphe brush. I'm taking that transition shade again and adding it right under the lower lash line. Taking this highlighter from that Lorac Pro Contour palette right in the tear duct area underneath the brow bone. I really wanted it to be super bright since I'm like basically dead inside today. And adding my lashes. These are the Koko lashes in the style Queen Bee. I live for these lashes. They just make my day better. applying those with tweezers. Now I'm taking that gray from the Stila palette and darkening up the lower lash line. For highlight, I mixed the highlight from the Lorac contour palette as well as MAC's Soft and Gentle, and just added that to all the high points of my face. I did go ham on the highlighter today because it made my face look like it was a little bit more alive, so I added more than usual. Now I'm going to set that with my MAC Fix Plus spray. This is a necessity for me, as I always mention. I don't like to do my makeup without it. Just going to fan that. And then my battery is dying, so I was going to do my mascara and my brow gel off camera. I'll list the products below. Came back and I used my Wet n Wild Fergie gel liner just in my waterline. I love this liner. I really do. And then I'm going to just buff that out with a little bit of black eyeshadow. And also going to tap that on the lash line to make sure none of the glue is too shiny. Now I started with Creeper by ColourPop, but I felt like it was way too bright. Just not for this look. So I ended up actually mixing 2 of the ColourPop liquid lipsticks. That's why I love liquid lipsticks. You can mix them and kind of customize your own shade. Really love doing that. And the shades I mixed were Creeper and Tool. So love that combo, just a darker red. That's it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys.